All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back to the channel. So thank you guys. Anybody who was hanging out last night in my live broadcast. I did a fight companion for about 2.5 hours, and I talked mostly about not the fights. Told stories and such, but we had a good time. So thanks everybody that came along. We'll do it again. We will do that again. That was really fun. We had Mixed Molly in there for like 2 hours, just wrapping out. Mixed Molly, let's just do this real quick. Mixed Molly got COVID. Okay, got COVID in Colombia. I knew that. I knew that he had it, and then he said that he was better. He said he was a little bit sick. And then he was better, and then apparently he fell off the map. He asked me some question. I emailed him some stuff that he asked for, and then he just disappeared. And I was like, dude, what the? I don't know. Sometimes he does that. And he came on last night, and he had developed a blood clot in his lung from COVID. So. Yeah, I feel like I should just say that since on my other channel I had just done a video that I was a little bit dismissive about COVID, but I still don't believe that Rachel Maddow's partner almost died. Still don't believe it. But nonetheless, COVID's serious, right? It is serious. Can you imagine if it would have knocked off Mixed Molly and everybody would have just been sitting here like he made the Kamzat Chimaev video and then he never came, that's it? It's just disappeared, the mysterious enigma that he is just gone. That would have been weird. I just emailed him that I think he's got a great Banksy thing going. You guys know who Banksy is? He's a street artist and he's literally one of the most successful artists in the world. No one knows who he is. Anyway, look him up. But anyway, all right, so we're going to talk about UFC 255. If you guys like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Then, you'll know when I go live, and you'll be there next time when Mixed Molly comes on and everybody's just rapping out. All right, so I wanted to go through the results and just talk through each of these, each of the fights that, actually matters, right? So I guess, real quick, I can talk about Nicholas Dalby and Daniel Rodriguez because I really like Rodriguez, but Dalby was just all over him, man. He was volume. And I don't know, DC thought Daniel Rodriguez won. I thought Dalby won, personally, but, I don't have a whole lot to say there. But Joaquin Buckley, good God, man. That guy is terrifying. That guy is terrifying. He's a dude, he's coming off that in case you guys don't know who he is, he's the one that got his leg caught and then he did the spinning back kick knockout. It was very, very recently. And then he fought again last night, and he fought against Jordan Wright, who I believe had never been finished. And my goodness, he didn't just finish him. It was one of those knockouts where you can it hurt. It hurt. He's a guy that you should be really scared to fight. I'm telling you, anybody that he fights that watches film on him now, they're going to watch that fight and they're going to be it would be very hard, even as a professional fighter, to watch that film and not be afraid to fight him. Seriously, he has that level of power, dude. He's just he's scary, dude. He is scary. He knocked him out in the second round. He started really hurting him at the end of the first, and then he knocked him out in the second with just a vicious flurry of punches. One of those ones where each shot he hit him with was a knockout punch, but the guy was still kind of standing up against the fence, and so he's just getting oh man, it looks so bad. When these guys get hit with multiple knockout shots, every once in a while a guy gets kind of knocked out, but they're just kind of just the way they're standing, they're kind of if someone hit them and then they just backed up, that they would kind of stumble and probably fall over, but somehow the way that they're standing up, they remain upright, and then they get hit with 2 to 3 more knockout shots when they can't really defend themselves. It was like that. And with just ruthless power, man. That guy he is scary, dude. Scary. Then we can talk about Paul Craig and Shogun, because Shogun tapped to strikes. And I'll tell you what that was. I said it on the live last night. That's him retiring. That. I would bet that's him retiring. Because that's he's never tapped to strikes before. He knows the ref's going to come get him in a second anyway. And for him to tap, I think that was that moment where, if you've heard Chael Sonnen talk about when he retired after he fought oh God, what's his name? Machida, and And he said that fight, when they pulled Machida off of him, he was just kind of like, where you guys been? You know, he's like, I was ready for you guys to come get him, you know, like 20 seconds before you did. And that's how he knew he was done, you know. And like Shogun's he's a lot of things. A warrior is definitely one of them. And if he's going to tap out to strikes, I think that's him being like, I can just feel I'm done. Like, this is it. You know, he's 38 years old. He's had an incredible career, an incredible run. You know, if TRT was still out, he'd probably have another 4 years. You know, I mean, honestly, like, you could just look at the guy's body. It's like, you could just see it. Like, when people's bodies start falling apart when they get older, like, it's like anything else. Like, this is not a person who had a body like that when he was 26. You know, testosterone is what dictates how your body looks. He obviously has much lower testosterone than he did when he was in his 20s. If we let people supplement testosterone and they would remain high testosterone into their 40s, they would be banging with people into their 40s. Now, whether that's safe or not safe for the fighters they're fighting against, or even them, you know, guys who take a lot of punishment and then they end up super fucked up later on, Mark Coleman, guys like that. I don't know. I mean, obviously, selfishly, I would love to see guys kind of combine the experience that they have in their late 30s with a body that can move as fast as it could when it was 25, you know, Vitor Belfort, TRT. You know, I mean, like, those would be exciting things to look at. But at the same time, if you do that, you basically are creating a situation where everyone is going to have to take testosterone. I mean, because otherwise it's just not fair. I mean, it's just not fair. It really is not fair. Because, I mean, listen, like, when it comes to athletic ability, you know, so much of it is genetics. Like, so much of it is genetics. It's like, you work, you know, you have to work hard. You can't, like, if you want to be an elite athlete, you have to work hard and you have to have incredible genetics, right? And so if you add in another layer to that, where you have to have elite genetics, work super hard, and then some guys are taking testosterone to have like the peak level of hormones in their body, everyone's going to have to do it. I mean, you're just going to have to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be up against, like, otherwise it won't be fair. Like, I mean, really, like, there'll always be like some guys that are like super freaks, like, you know, Francis Ngannou, but they're rare, you know, like that would be rare that they would be the top guys. Cause like, think about like when TRT was going, like, think about who the champions were, you know, like, think about who the champions were. I guess Cain Velasquez actually was probably not, actually almost for sure was not TRT. So yeah, I don't know. Who knows? All I know is anyone would be better at peak testosterone than they are without peak testosterone. Anyway, so that's that. Then Mike Perry. So I love that guy, man. He's fucking hilarious. So he misses weight by 5 pounds. He comes in, he's singing, he's having a great time. He looked great in the first round. Like, great in the first round. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but man, he looked good. Tim Means is like a really legit ground fighter, and you know, Mike Perry took him down, took his back, almost submitted him, almost had him in a rear naked choke. You know, Joe Rogan, who's a black belt, I rely on these guys. These guys, I mean, I do know that stuff. Like, you know, being able to take the back, stick the hooks in, all that stuff. I know all that, obviously. You know, body triangle, trying to get the choke once you're there. Yeah, he looked great. And then, you know, kind of towards the back half of the, you know, I mean, I don't understand how anyone would have scored the first round for Means, but the second and third were clearly Means. Like, he was just, that was your clinic right there of straight punches beat looping punches all day long. Like, he just was just dat. He also is longer. It's, listen, that fight, I wasn't really talking about it on the live. I don't know. We were kind of talking about other stuff. Oh, wait. Was I still on? Yeah. That was the last fight. But that fight was familiar, you know? Like, sparring guys that are long, taller than you, that have a great jab. That was an experience I was familiar with. Guys who are better than me, longer, and have a great jab and just could punch me at will. You know, like, that's what that looked like. Was like, you know, Perry trying to figure out a way in to hit him with something big and just, you know. I've always thought about that, how fun that would be to box a guy who had shorter arms, because I have a good jab, but like, my arms are short, So like, but I always think about that. It's like, man, that must be so fun. You know, like it just must be so fun. Like you can hit this guy here and he can't hit you till he's here. So you're just like, oh, come on in. Looks fun. And he was popping Mike Perry's head around very, very easily. But yeah, I mean, I think Mike Perry looked pretty good. He certainly fought. I didn't see who got the bonuses, but I would imagine Tim Means and Mike Perry got those bonuses, though. Like, I'm sorry, for fight of the night. I would assume. I mean, that because they went all out. They stood in the middle of the octagon and just were throwing bombs at each other for a while. But yeah, I would assume they got fight of the night. Okay, and then Shevchenko and Jennifer Maia. That guy who put that 12K down on Shevchenko was tripping in the second round. I can tell you that. That was a great fight. Dude, Valentina is such a boss. That was awesome to see her actually face a little bit of adversity. I can't think of a time that I'd seen her get pressed like that. You know, like Jennifer Maia dominated her in the second round. You know, I mean, she got, you know, Valentina clearly won all four other rounds. But, you know, when like, you see, like, so someone comes out, they take a person down, they control in the first round. Then in the second round, if the other person is able to take them down and hold them down, that's a big shift in momentum in the fight. Huge. Going into the third, fourth, fifth, that's like, you know, I mean, the favorite has to be the person who dominated the second round because it's like they figured something out and then now they're dominating. And Valentina, you could, like, that was really telling how good she is. Like, where she made adjustments and then just annihilated Jennifer after that, you know? Jennifer Maia is really good, but Valentina is just a stone champion, man. She's so fucking good. She's so good. She's got, like, I was saying before the fight that I thought she might be the most dominant champion. You know, like where everyone she fights is just walking into a no-win situation. You know, and I was saying, like, you know, at least with like Khabib, you feel like there's some chance he could lose. Where like Valentina, it just is like a total foregone conclusion. Like no one at 125 is going to beat her, you know? And she actually basically has cleared out the division now. But I've never seen Khabib get dominated like that in a round, you know? I mean, Khabib never really lost a round. So now, yeah, that argument is over. So yeah, that's that. I don't know who she's going to fight next. I would imagine they'll do a fight between her and Amanda again at some point because now that they're both, I mean, it's actually really unfortunate that they fought twice before because that would have been a super fight. I mean, a super fight. If they, I mean, it still would be. It obviously still would be, especially when you actually look at the first two fights because, you know, Amanda won them both, but like the second fight was super close, like incredibly close. Like Amanda threw her arms in the air when she got the decision. Like she was not sure that she won at all. And the first fight, Amanda won the first two rounds, but then in the third round, she got dominated. Like she was tired and Valentina was fucking her up. Like where if that fight would have gone 5 rounds, Valentina would have won. So both of them were like really kind of, I mean, like there's no like Amanda's dominated Valentina twice at all. Like that's just not the case. And think about that, right? Think about what Amanda Nunes has done to everyone else, including Cyborg. She dirt-napped Cyborg in 90 seconds. 90 seconds. And she squeaked one by Valentina and then, you know, basically got saved by the circumstances of the fight in the first one. I mean, that's straight up. That's what happened. If the fight continues, Valentina wins. So, like, she got saved by the circumstances of the fight. If that was if they were in the middle of the woods and fighting over a bone, Valentina gets the fucking bone. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be excited to watch that fight again for sure. Although I do think it would look very similar to the second fight. They're going to chess match each other because neither of them really makes mistakes. Anyway, so Deiveson Figueiredo, good God. That guy, wow, I love that guy. I mean, he is quickly elevating up to where one of my favorite guys. I mean, for 125, like after watching 125 pounds for years and years and years and years, and there's just no one there, you know? Demetrius Johnson just kind of like, these guys all fight it out. There's no one super exciting. Demetrius Johnson will beat him, you know, and somehow, even though he's really good, it's not that exciting, you know? And like, it's weird. Like, here's what I'm going to say. Demetrius Johnson had plenty of finishes, and still, he just wasn't exciting to watch. I can't explain it. He had subs, he had, knockouts, and he still just wasn't that exciting to watch. And Figueiredo is one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. I mean, without a doubt. Gosh, man, those body kicks he threw, like those sounded like a tree trunk hitting hitting Francis Ngannou. Smack, and you could just feel that, like kick to the body. You're like, oh my gosh, he's 125 pounds. 125 pounds. You know how small that is? 125 pounds, tiny, and he generates so much heat, dude. I would love to see that guy fight an overconfident 200 pounder, dude. Like just like a guy that like thinks, would look at him and just be like, oh, get out of here, you little twerp. He would annihilate 99.9% of 200-pound people in the world. I mean, actually more than that. 99.999% of 200-pound guys in the world. I mean, fucking without a doubt. Obliterate them. Like, they would last 52 seconds in there with him. And, God, that would be fun. That would be so fun. Because they go in there, they would look so big compared to him. And he would just... he would kick them in the legs. They couldn't even be able to fathom how much it hurt. They'd try to keep a brave face on. He'd kick them in the legs again. They would fold. He would jump on their back and he would suffocate them, or break their nose, whatever. But he's going to continue to run through these 125 pounders, dude. Alex Perez, for a guy who got submitted in the first round, he looked good too. He looked good, but gosh, Figueiredo, man, that guy. I mean, they're like. Okay, how do I say this? There are very few guys where you would call their jiu-jitsu like vicious. Like they have vicious jiu-jitsu where it's like because jiu-jitsu is kind of like an art form, It's like, if this guy does this, then I do this. If this guy does this, then I do this. And I try to do it as fast. I need to have it all programmed so I can do it as fast as possible. It's all if this, then that. If this, then that. If this, then that. And so it's like, it really looks like, it's like an art. There are very few guys who make it look violent, like who really make jiu-jitsu look violent, where they grab a hold of something and it's like, oh my God, this guy's he's gonna break his arm like instantly, or he's gonna put him out instantly. Like guys, dude, Frank Mir has violent jiu-jitsu. Like he gets a guy in an arm lock or whatever, and like you're gonna get injured fast. Like he is absolutely trying to break your arm, and he will. Like Frank Mir had violent jiu-jitsu, and who else? I'm trying to think of what other guys. Like Khabib when he choked out Dustin Poirier. Get a picture of Dustin Poirier's face once Khabib put his arm around his neck, and like he looks like someone is decapitating him. But still, even Khabib's jiu-jitsu isn't like violent the way that like Figueiredo has violent jiu-jitsu, where you're like, he is hurting them bad instantly. As soon as he gets them in anything, it's like, oh wow, like this, he's hurting them. And he's got it vicious on his feet. I can't think of a fighter who is so violent on his feet and in jiu-jitsu. Like, he is a murder machine. Like a murder machine. I'm seriously like trying to think of that. Like, you think about like Masvidal has really violent stand-up. Like really violent, kick you in the body, and then he's gonna punch you in the face, and like he's really trying to take your head off. But then he gets on the ground, and he doesn't have that same level of jiu-jitsu, right? I'm trying to think if there's anyone that I can think of who is so scary, both on the feet and on the ground. And I can't think of anyone. I'm talking fucking no one. No one in the entire UFC that's as violent, both jiu-jitsu and on the feet. Man, let's go through the champions. Okay, Stipe, nope. John Jones, nope. Man, Izzy, no. Nobody at middleweight. Welterweight, Usman, no way. Khabib, kind of. 145. Peter Yan, no. Sterling, his stand-up's not as violent. He has violent jiu-jitsu. Gosh, man, yeah, there's no one. He's the only one. He is literally he stands alone as the most violent fighter on the roster. Honestly, I really believe that, actually. As a matter of fact, I know that now that I'm really thinking about it. Maybe the most complete game in the UFC. And that used to be DJ. That's what's crazy. That used to be Demetrius Johnson. You know, the most complete game. And now it's Figueiredo. It's at 125, except Figueiredo, like, that's the thing. That's what it was about. Because this is the thing. Like, okay, so what I was saying earlier about how Demetrius Johnson wasn't that interesting, right? A lot of people would probably say, well, it was his personality, you know, he didn't really like spice up the fights. He didn't really get into the narrative. Okay, well, Figueiredo doesn't even speak fucking English. Okay? So he's obviously not spicing up the fight with a personality. He doesn't even speak English. You know? I mean, you could tell he's kind of a flashy guy, which is cool. I mean, that works. Like, you know, guy that is kind of flashy, like, especially like hard knocks, and then makes some money, and then he's flashy, he's got Gucci, and he's got whatever. Like, that shit works for a fight champion. That wasn't DJ, but that's not it. It is how he fights that makes him so exciting. So, man, I'm going to be excited to watch him fight every time. I don't even know any of these people at 125. I would love to see Triple C come back and try to make 125 and fight him, but I don't know. I don't know if I could pick against Figueiredo, man. That guy, I mean, seriously. He might end up clearing out the division, going up to 135, and I don't think anyone is going to beat that guy. I really don't. Like, because where's his weakness? Like, where is his weakness? How are you going to beat him? Anyway, that is what I've got. So subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. Peace.